It's probably safe to say we all know of someone who has lost their job or home in this economy. Understandably, their sense of loss can be overwhelming. Certified grief counselor and life transition coach Ligia Houben says you can transform that loss and grief into a positive, life-changing experience. And she joins us today to explain how that process works. Thank you, Ligia, for being here with us. Tell me, as you are a Coral Gables resident, and I think that's important to point out as well, and you just released a book titled Transform Your Loss, Your Guide to Strength and Hope. Have you noticed that in this economy, we're seeing a lot more of that loss?
Yes, Belkis, thank you. Well, in this economy, we are experiencing many losses on top of the expected losses, no, that we go through, like the loss of a loved one, a divorce, separation, loss of health. Because of the times we are living now, we are experiencing more losses, like economic losses, loss of a job. So these losses can also be manifested into other losses, because, for example, it can be a primary loss to lose a job, or, you know, economic losses. But at times it can also have like a domino effect, because it may have an impact on your relationship with your spouse, your partner, and to the point that sometimes couples cannot stand that, so it produces a breakup, a divorce or separation. It also may affect our health, because, you know, with losses this type, we suffer from stress if we do not learn how to handle it. So if we allow stress to sink in, then that also can produce loss of health. You know, we can even have like heart attacks if we don't really keep those stresses down. So as we can see, one primary loss, in this case financial loss, if not handled with tools that can allow you to keep on going, it can be very devastating in life.
Have you seen now, with this situation that we're in, that, you know, there's many different people that are losing their jobs and houses? Have you seen a trend in different people who are asking for help, that are coming forward to get help?
The thing is that when we lose someone, for example, it's public. And it's like we are allowed, in quote, to express our grief. That grief is the expression, you know, that we're suffering a loss. So we even have the rituals, the funerals, you know, to express that. We have support group, our family come together, our friends come together. With a loss of a job or financial losses, that doesn't happen very often, because people want to, most people, no, want to keep on the status quo. So it is very difficult to accept that that kind of loss has happened.
And you need that process as well, the same grieving process that you would have. You would need some sort of process like that. It would help?
Yes, because a loss is a loss.
Okay.
It's like when the definition will go like when something or someone very dear to us is not with us anymore. So we experience grief. And of course, the context is different. Losing a loved one, losing a job. But we go through a process, you know, and that would be the ideal, I would say, if we allow that to happen. Because if not, if we pretend that nothing has happened, and that's why in the book that you mentioned, I offer 11 principles to transform your loss. The first principle is accept your loss. Accept, not meaning to be passive about it, no? But if something happened to you, it happened. And if we go into this denial, it hasn't happened, we don't want to see it, or to pretend things are the same, we may get into more problems. For example, talking about the economy, you know, if we do not take a pause and think and see, okay, this has happened to me, I am facing this now. I'm not saying it's easy. I know it is not easy. But it's just like, okay, what am I going to do with this? Where am I going? because if we pretend nothing has happened, then we may even incur in debts, in more economical crisis. Exactly. So I would say that the first thing is to accept there has been a change, there has been a loss, because when a loss happens, there's a change. Life is not the same, there's change. And as human beings, sometimes we resist change. It is not easy.
Let me ask you, because it's so difficult to understand that out of a death or a job loss, a foreclosure, all of those are life-changing experiences, but they're so negative that you really can't. I can't visualize how it can turn to something positive. How can you turn something like that, a loss of a job or a loss of your house that you've invested so much in, into a positive thing?
I know what you said, that they are difficult, and it has to do a lot with the cognitive appraisal of the situation.